Without Jungkook, I'm nothing. Jimin's words that shook the world. ARMY around the world is again rocked by an honest confession from Jimin that is not only shocking, but it also touches the heart to make many people shed tears. In an emotional interview session, Jimin with a trembling voice said a sentence that immediately shook the virtual universe. Without Jungkook, I'm nothing. This speech instantly became a global highlight. Not a few fans who claim to be stunned to hear the phrase, because it is so deep, sincere, and shows how much Jungkook means in Jimin's life. For Jimin, Jungkook is not just a friend or group mate in BTS, rather the figure had become a part of himself, a crutch in his fragile moment, and the light that always guides him back in the right direction. The sentence was not born just like that. Many soldiers realize that Jimin and Jungkook have gone through so much together since the trainee days until now. They both endure great pressure as world idols, facing criticism, busy schedules, to inner struggles that often make them almost give up. However, at every difficult point, they are always there for each other. That's why Jimin's words feel so realistic and honest. Not just a sweet phrase. Jungkook's reaction when he heard that sentence became the center of attention. Jungkook looked speechless, his eyes glazed over, and his lips trembled slightly. ARMY, who witnessed the moment, admitted that he could feel how deep the emotional bond was between the two. Many said that Jungkook's face at that time implied a feeling of gratitude as well as love that could not be expressed in words. International media even highlighted Jimin's remarks. Some news portals refer to it as a true love sentence that goes beyond the limits of ordinary friendship. There are also those who write that Jimin and Jungkook's relationship is a vivid example of how friendship can develop into a soul bond that fills each other. Meanwhile, the ARMY flooded social media with the hashtag without Jungkook I'm nothing, which had occupied the world's trending topic for hours. For ARMY, this sentence is not just an emotional phrase from Jimin, but it is also proof that BTS's togetherness is not just an image displayed in front of the camera. Behind the scenes, behind the stage spotlight, there is such a real, strong, and deep-rooted bond, especially between Jimin and Jungkook. This moment is now remembered as one of Jimin's most shocking confessions, a sentence that will continue to imprint on ARMY's hearts, a confession that without Jungkook, he feels empty. After that sentence came out of Jimin's lips, the world seemed to stop for a moment. ARMYs in different parts of the world reacted so emotionally, creating a wave of furor that was difficult to ignore. Social media exploded with millions of uploads, responses, and edited videos capturing the moment. On Twitter, X, Instagram, to TikTok, ARMY makes thousands of posts with the hashtag without Jungkook I'm nothing, hashtag Jimin loves Jungkook, and hashtag Jungkook moment, which all shot to the top of global trending topics in just a matter of hours. Many soldiers wrote down their feelings in simple but emotional words. Some say that Jimin's words are the purest form of love, a statement that cannot be fabricated or fabricated. Others added that Jimin and Jungkook's relationship is a clear proof of how two human beings can sustain each other and grow together, not just as artists, but also as a person who faces such a harsh world. Even more surprising, several ARMY shared videos of their own reactions. Some sobbed while rewatching the interview. Others wrote long messages to Jimin and Jungkook. Thank you both for expressing such deep feelings. Many claim that Jimin's words give them the strength to appreciate the people who are present in their lives, especially friends who are always on the side of selflessness. From Jungkook's side, his reaction was also the subject of heated discussion. Although he did not immediately answer with long words, his look full of emotion seemed to say more than 1,000 sentences. Observant fans even admitted to seeing Jungkook trying to hold back tears, and when he smiled slightly with his head down, ARMY simultaneously interpreted that the smile was the most sincere answer from his heart. I am so grateful that Jimin dared to say such a profound thing. International media also highlighted this moment. Some articles refer to Jimin and Jungkook's relationship as a soulmate connection that is rarely seen in the entertainment world. Some wrote that Jimin's line was one of the boldest confessions in K-pop history because he didn't just talk about ordinary friendship, but he admits that he can't live a full life without Jungkook, even in Korea itself. Local media highlighted the sentence with quite emotional titles, such as Jimin's Confession, Jungkook is half my soul, or Without Jungkook, Jimin is nobody. Army Korea responded with pride, saying that this moment is a mirror of how sincere the relationship between BTS members has always been since their debut. Not stopping there, many armies around the world began to create artwork, fan art, and even a short song inspired by that phrase. Some fan art shows Jimin and Jungkook holding hands with a bright light between them, symbolizing that the two are each other's source of strength. There is also a fanfiction born from this moment, describing the emotional journey of the two from trainee to the present, bound by the legendary phrase, "What is most touching?" Many ARMY wrote about their personal experiences in the comments. Jimin's words made them think of an important figure in their lives. Some even say, "Jimin's words saved my life, because I realized how precious the people who have always been there for me are." Jimin's speech is no longer just an emotional statement between members, but incarnating becomes a source of inspiration that gives meaning to millions of people out there. The phrase is now not just Jimin's personal phrase, but has become part of BTS. Emotional history. A sentence that will always be remembered, quoted, and talked about among the ARMY, confirms that Jimin and Jungkook's relationship is an unshakable bond. After the interview was over, the atmosphere behind the stage turned into a moment of complete silence. Everyone present, from the crew to the staff, could feel how heavy the meaning of the sentence Jimin had just said. Jungkook, who was sitting not far from Jimin, still looked down as if trying to calm his own heart. His smile was thin, but his eyes could not lie. There was a wet shine that almost fell off, but he managed to hold it. Some of the staff who knew them for a long time admitted that the moment was one of the most emotional they had ever witnessed. They know that Jimin and Jungkook have indeed had a very close relationship since the trainee days, but hearing Jimin express it openly made everyone present touched. Even a staff member said quietly that sentence will continue to be remembered by people. Jimin just wrote history. Shortly after the camera stopped recording, Jungkook turned to Jimin. No long words, just a deep look full of meaning. The look seemed to say, "I know. I feel the same way." Jimin, who was aware of the gaze, only smiled gently while patting Jungkook on the shoulder. One simple gesture, but a very observant ARMY will surely immediately know that that is the form of heart-to-heart communication that they have been accustomed to for a long time. A few minutes later, as the two walked toward the dugout, a crew member saw Jungkook gently nudge Jimin's arm, as if to make sure he was really by his side. Jimin turned his head, smiled, and without hesitation embraced Jungkook's shoulder for a moment. It was not a big or dramatic action, but the small moment actually emphasized the meaning of Jimin's sentence. As if he wanted to prove to the world that what he had just said was not just words, but something real. I in the restroom. The atmosphere is quite calm. Jimin sat on the sofa while closing his eyes, looking still carried away by emotions. Jungkook then sat down next to her, saying nothing, just leaning his back against the sofa and letting the silence speak. After a while, Jungkook whispered quietly. No one heard him but Jimin. "Hyung, don't tell me that without me you're nothing. You are everything, not just for me, but for everyone." That sentence made Jimin open his eyes slowly, turn to Jungkook, then smile. There was no long reply, just a quiet murmur, "But you know, my heart is calm because you are always there." The moment was not recorded on camera, was not broadcast to the public, and was not known to anyone except the two of them. However, if the ARMY heard the story, perhaps the tears would return. Because in the end, Jimin and Jungkook aren't just two BTS members working together. They are two souls that strengthen each other, complement each other, and keep each other standing tall in the midst of the storm of life as a world idol.